Hey guys, Robert Starcraft here, and with me I have, how do you say your last name? I really should have just asked you that before I started.
Chris Notarile of Blinky Productions.
Yep, one of the best fan film creators, period. Still doing it, still going strong with it. I mean, wow, man, you have been doing it for like how long? Like over a decade, right?
17 years.
Almost 2 decades then, yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. And you've done it all, mostly DC, but a lot of, geekdom related stuff. You've done some crazy crossovers, plenty of original stuff as well. You've had a lot of actors that perfectly match their roles and everything. You've brought your own type of finality to franchises. I can go on and on and on. So, why don't you just start telling people how you got things started?
It all pretty much started for me January 2004. I had made my very first short film that was complete. It was a parody called Baby Punisher, in
Oh,
which if you remember the teaser trailer for the Thomas Jane Punisher, not the actual movie, but the very teaser trailer they
hmm.
released, where he still had blonde hair. Um, I
I
took
remember.
I took the audio from that because I had done that cosplay that year because I thought, okay, well, I guess he's going to be blonde for the movie, and I had blonde hair, so why the hell
Hmm.
not, you know? So I took the audio from that, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny if a kid was dressing up as the Punisher and making a mess out of his room, and his mom punishes him, hence Baby Punisher. So it's still on my channel. It's one of my older videos from like I posted it back in 2005, but I shot it in January of 2004.
Oh,
Um, it was my next door neighbor. Literally went over to his house and we filmed it. And this kid was like, maybe 6, 7 years old.
right.
And his mom comes in, grounds him, and everything like that. And that was my very first thing that I had edited. And again, I used the audio from the Punisher trailer and edited it in synchronization to what I was shooting. And then that was pretty much kicked it off for me. Then I was like, okay, I did this. This was pretty easy. Let's try and make a movie. You
Hmm.
know, yeah, sure. I do a 60-second short film. Let's make a feature. Bad idea.
Kind of get a little ahead of yourself. Oh, by the
Got
way,
ahead of myself.
yep.
Definitely did.
Yeah, just want to
I
say,
wrote
hold on,
a.
1 second, 1 second. Wanted to
Oh,
say,
sure.
hey, Nerdette. Oh, you're working today? Oh, nuts.
Damn it, Nerdette! You got to tune in for this later. I just actually did an interview with her
Oh,
yesterday.
oh, yeah.
Um, so
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see
she's
it.
great too. I just subscribed to Nerdette's newsstand. Yeah,
No,
that's it.
nice, nice. Oh, I've been following her for years, so yeah, but continue.
So anyway, I basically then I wrote a script and it was about 20 pages, and so I decided, all right, let's just do the short film first. And that was my very first short film. It was called Axe Massacre, and it was an
Oh,
original.
yeah, I
It's
remember
not on my
that.
channel anymore, but it used to be.
Oh, I remember that. Wasn't that like a Christmas setting one, I
Yeah,
think?
and I
Yep.
remade it in 2008 as an even shorter film, so that version's still up. But the 2004 version I took down because not my best, and on
Right.
top of it, the it has some spoilers that I didn't want to give away for a
Oh, right,
potential
right.
future
You don't
script.
want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. But once I had done that, I was like, all right, I'm getting the feel for it, you know.
Hmm.
Then I did someone else's short film called Night Seeker. I directed for him, and I got a little bit better. There was a fight scene involved, and again,
Hmm.
I was growing with each short. And then finally, my fourth project was The Nightmare Ends on Halloween,
Oh, yeah.
and that was that summer. And by that point, I was like, all right, I think I got a good handle on how to be a director now.
Hmm.
So we made that short, and pretty much the rest was history. Then I just started consistently making stuff as often as possible because I think I found my niche.
Hmm.
And the genesis for that came from in 2003. I was at Dragon Con and I saw Sandy Calora's Batman versus
Oh,
Predator
yeah.
Dead End
Good
short.
God, that film.
It was a great
That is
movie,
great. I mean,
and
love it.
so I had seen Dead End, and I'm like, that was a really nifty idea having Batman and Punisher, or sorry, Batman and Predator and
Predator and
Alien together.
Aliens and Joker.
Yeah, and I thought Hollywood would never be able to pull that off. And I
Not an
said,
Alex Ross style outfit, that's for sure.
yeah, exactly. And I go, all right, well, that's what I have to do. I want to make stuff that I know for a fact Hollywood can never do.
Right.
And so I did Nightmare Ends on Halloween, and ever since, that's kind of what I've been trying to do with all my fan films is to try and do what Hollywood can't, whether it be telling a poignant story, having certain characters meet, or just straight up, besting them at their own
Right.
game and
Right.
showing the
Definitely.
character in its pure form and saying, no, 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 it can work. You just didn't try hard enough.
Exactly. And funny enough, with your Nightmare on Halloween, that's the one that ends with Pinhead, right? At
Yeah.
the end. That was one of the rumors they were going to do for Freddy versus Jason in the first place. And it was
I read
like,
about that, and I go, okay, well, I guess I gotta throw him in because I had seen Freddy vs. Jason '03, and then I heard about how Pinhead was supposed to pop up at the end, and I was like, what a missed opportunity that would have been. So
right.
I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna show him how it's done. I'm gonna have Pinhead show up, and I'm gonna make it cooler, Now, granted, that was a $300 short film and everything
Right.
like that, and it was shot on home video. And it's not the greatest, but the idea
Yeah.
is still light years beyond what Hollywood is capable of pulling off, and that
Oh,
was
definitely.
the goal.
It's the heart, and that's why I always love about your films. Like one, a lot of times you do capture the look, but more times you capture the heart, the spirit of everything, and I think that's why people love your stuff so much. It's
Well, I
because you
think
just
that
really get it.
having the heart helps kind of gloss over the lack in budget.
Right.
Like I did a Predator short film 2 years ago, and even though the costumes are spandex and they're not the greatest, the heart is there, and it helps you kind of overlook seeing a seam line or a zipper on the costume because it feels like
Oh, yeah,
Predator movie.
definitely. But you also put in good enough quality that you're still a step above those who really like you know what I mean, right? The ones that are like, oh, they don't even have a good mask. He's like a box or something. You're well above those. Because you've seen those times, right, where you're like, oh, wow, why'd they even upload this stuff? I mean,
I try my hardest to, I see lesser works, and the last thing I ever want to be is that or compared to that. In fact, some very mean channel just compared one of my movies to a terrible Halloween ripoff. In 2007, I made a feature film called Methodic.
Oh, yep, I remember that
just
too.
Ripped it to shreds, and I was like, dude, man, okay, you didn't like the movie, fine, but taking time out of your day to make a long ass video like that, I don't like being on the receiving end of that, so I don't ever want to be on the firing end of that and attack people. But I also try my hardest to stay out of that target and really put the effort into the costumes,
Right, definitely. Now, I will say this. I think one of the first ones that really set your gold standards were your Power Girl fan films. I mean, you got a great actress with, what was her name?
Tanya Mannion.
Yeah. Have you worked with her since, or?
Unfortunately, Tanya and I are on either ends of the country, so I haven't really seen her. In fact, I think the last time I really saw her was 2008, because she had gotten a job working, and she lived out in Brooklyn, and I was in New Jersey. And then, we just never really found time to hang out and work on any other projects together. And then finally, I made the move out west, and we still talk once in a while. And, I miss her. I think she was, a great power girl. And but I think she's very, very knee deep in her career right now.
Oh, of course, understandable.
Yeah.
If I remember right, the way you did was you put like a Craigslist just saying, you basically said like have to have big boobs, actress, big boobs, all that.
Blonde. I
Books
said
and blonde. Books and blonde. Right.
I try to use the right terminology.
You're right. Of course. You don't want to be too blunt or derogatory, but still. But boy, does she nail it! I cannot think of anyone who's been so perfect in the role in any type of fan film or anything. I mean,
well, we were going for the Amanda Connor version of Power Girl at the time. She was doing the Justice League Classified.
Yep.
And I really liked that run. And Tanya came along. She was fresh out of New Orleans at the time.
Yep.
She escaped Hurricane Sandy, I think, or Katrina.
Yeah.
She escaped Katrina.
Oh yeah, Katrina. That was at that time.
And so we were talking and everything, and I cast her for the part. And actually, I have this great photo. She got to meet Amanda Connor.
Ooh.
And they did a couple of photos together. There's one where, like, I think she was kicking Amanda in the ass, and it was funny. It's just
Amanda's such a good humor.
Our work.
Yeah.
And her husband Jimmy Palmiotti, who's a friend of mine now. I'm very grateful for that. It was just really nice being able to connect with them and sharing my love of what they did. With them and everything. So it was very, very fulfilling.
Especially once they did their own title, because that was Amanda and Jeff, but Jimmy helped out with the inking, and then
Yeah.
eventually they did their own series where it was again Jimmy and Amanda with Justin Gray, and now it's just Jimmy and Amanda going forward.
Yeah, and those two are a great power couple, and I
Oh
would
yeah,
love
definitely.
to, be in their position when I reach their age.
Right. Well, I would say this: if you could ever get back together with Tanya, maybe do a Power Girl Harley and take it from what Jimmy and Amanda had done.
Maybe.
That would be. I'm just saying something like that. I'm just throwing that out there.
I know. I have to get more acclimated with that run of the
Oh
team
right.
up of Power Girl and Harley.
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of feel that Power Girl is in my rear view right now.
Okay.
Especially in
That's
terms
fair.
of a comedic character.
Oh, definitely. So, but yeah, going forward, then you would eventually do other films like Blue Beetle, in which case you would play your Evan Blue, the character in there.
I did, yeah. I had written at the time a Blue Beetle feature script, and I never intended on playing it, but I always had it up the back of my sleeve that if pre-Captain America Chris Evans was not going to be able to play Ted Kord, I'd do it. But he was always like my go-to. So we're talking fresh out of Fantastic Four, in desperate need of a superhero redemption, Chris Evans. And I was like, I want that guy for Ted Kord.
One sec, sorry,
a couple of years later, he gets Captain America, and it's over with.
Right, just 1 second. Got my weather alarm going off. Hold on.
Oh no. He has the windows.
Never turn that darn thing off. I can only mute it.
Oh damn.
Yep, hate it when it does that. But
I sure hope you don't have like a
another
hurricane
storm
coming your way.
Oh, I'm in Michigan. I don't have to worry about that.
If I'm witnessing like a homicide right now or a murder, let me know. This is going to be hilarious.
but of course, these people don't know it. You and I actually collaborated once. I did a script for a Jason Under the Red Hood film, and you did that. And that's still one that I always like. Wow, I cannot believe I had a hand in one of those.
I didn't have a whole lot of understanding of Red Hood, so I was reaching out at the time for help. And I every now and then I do that. When I don't fully understand a character, I like to talk to people who have more expertise than me. That actually occurred with Friday the 31st, Michael versus Jason.
Oh yeah,
I'm a co-writer on that, which is rare, But I didn't care enough about Jason Voorhees to want to put him in a room with Michael, so I asked somebody to just kind of do the work for me, and he did. And then I had to write over what he did and make it better. But it was the bare bones and everything. So.
Well, yeah,
it happens sometimes.
Oh yeah. But you say that about Jason, but yet you've done such good stuff with Pamela, at least with his mother.
That was more interesting to me, honestly. I believe that Pamela Voorhees is a way more interesting character than Jason.
Oh yeah.
And I feel that actually exploring Pamela Voorhees' story beyond her being a surprise killer at the end of the first film, I think, is potent.
Oh, definitely. So much untapped potential.
And I actually had a really cool idea that I wanted to do one day. And this is if I ever got to pitch it. I would do a 1956 Pamela Voorhees Crystal Lake She's the Killer story with no twist. Everyone knows that she's the killer going in, and everyone's going to see her go Rambo on everybody.
Oh, that would be great. And
that's the thing I wanted to do. And the idea is very simple, is that because she escapes her husband Elias, who was abusive, and she's caring for Jason, she makes friends with the Christies, and the Christies basically, okay, here's what we'll do. Okay, on the off season, we have a little cabin that's right outside the camp. You could live there, you could raise your son, and you just be the groundskeeper. And then when the summer comes along again, we open back up, you could be the cook.
That sounds that makes sense. That's a good explanation to fill in all the gaps.
For 12 years, Pamela Voorhees is living off the land, going to town for shit here and there, but basically living off the land with Jason, hunting, skinning animals, cooking. So she is showing Jason how to be the hunter that he becomes. Oh,
that is so good. Just this origin story that just one of those that fill in all the gaps. But
you give her a crossbow or a bow and arrow. You give her a machete. You give her daggers. You give her a spear if need be.
Oh yeah.
bear trap. She's setting them all around.
Which explains why she was able to stab through Kevin Bacon's neck. You're like, how can an old woman do that? That's how.
Exactly. And when you finally, and it's almost like, remember in Castaway where they do that time jump to Tom Hanks when he's like, lean and able to hunt fish? That's basically where we're going with Pamela. And you have this whole story now where Jason, who is, he could be a mute, he could be whatever, but he communicates through sign language, and he tells Pamela that he wants to go to camp like the other kids. Make it his choice that he wants to get.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would make even more heart-wrenching.
And the kids, of course, make fun of him, and then he ends up subsequently drowning while the counselors weren't looking.
While they were out screwing.
One day, Pamela lets her guard down and says, okay, fine. She's proven right, and she's like, no! Goes ape shit. And now you have a Rambo-style killer.
That first killing, we never knew about what happened that first killing.
Exactly. But it's not just, she just took a knife and stabbed somebody. She has Rambo-level skills, and she's pissed off.
Oh, boy.
Imagine her
taking
just
time
setting
bomb the whole time.
on fire and murdering everybody systematically like she was Rambo.
Yeah. Because
that would be an awesome
no one else knew about it. No, if I remember right, no one knew by the Friday 13th that, the first one, that she did it. They just knew someone killed him, right?
Right. And the thing is that you wouldn't suspect it because she's that good of a hunter. So
definitely.
No survivors, kill everybody.
The kids especially, because they tortured her kid.
Yeah, and of course you could always pass off as a woman and rescue the children, let the children go free, and then systematically kill the kids. Or wait till maybe the last day at camp, everyone leaves except the counselors, and then just slaughters them all systematically.
Yeah, like take out the bus driver, no one else is left, kids are on the bus, perfect, easy pickings.
Yeah, but that would be a story I would love to do if I ever got the opportunity to pitch a Friday the 13th story. But yeah. That's an idea that I'm saving in the back of my head one day.
And another person you worked in the early career on was the guy who would end up being that perfect Tom Cruise lookalike, not Tom Cruise, when you did Scientology. Yeah. How did that feel about finding out him being the AVGN stuff and all that, and how he's kind of really taken off?
He's taken off, yeah, and I'm very happy for him. Evan and I had a mutual friend at the time, and we were talking, and he's just like, we had seen this video of Tom Cruise getting sprayed with a squirt gun on the red carpet and having a hissy fit about it.
Right.
And my friend was saying, check this video out. This is funny. I go, what is it? He goes, you remember the Tom Cruise thing? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, my buddy does a Tom Cruise impression. So he played back this video of Evan, and he's just, talking to the camera, doing it in his bedroom. And I'm watching, and I'm like, yeah, no, he's really good. He
you think it's him.
I go, we should do something. And he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, give me his email. I'll talk to him. And so I hit him up and I go, hey, would you like to do, like a Tom Cruise short, like something funny? He goes, well, what are you thinking? And I said, what if we did like Tom Cruise meets Jigsaw and, Dianetics at the end? He goes, I'm in. And so we shot that in my basement in an afternoon, and that was the end of it,
I know, but then, like I said, he's on now AVGN, just like Tom Cruise acknowledges him now. It's just like...
Yeah, I know. They met back in 2013, I believe. And I'm happy to say, and I want to believe that I was the first person to actually film him in character. Like, he filmed himself, but I was the first person to actually do a sketch with him.
Oh, I mean, that would make sense looking how far back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so once I saw that AVGN, I'm like... Boom! I had to comment on your video to let you know, because it was like, I remembered that, and it was just like, wow.
And he's done Tom Cruise for me in voiceover twice last year. I did Jack Slater 5.
Yep, I remember that.
And he played Mayor Tom Cruise, and then I had him play Tom Cruise again in West of Shatner.
Oh, yep. I remember both of those audios. Great job on those. We'll get to those in a bit, but then one of the other ones you did, what I still also really like, was the end of Halloween.
The last Halloween with Michael Myers, yeah.
Yep. First getting Tom Kane to do that narration. I mean, how'd you get that connection?
Okay, so I've come to learn, it doesn't apply to everybody, but for most people, if you ask really nicely, they'll say yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing I was writing the script, and I said to myself, I need a guy who can do Dr. Loomis voice. Well, Donald Pleasance is no longer with us, and I said, I I really don't want people to discredit my fan film and saying,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's just a fan film." I go, "What if I could get somebody who could actually, who actually had done the voice?" I go, "Well, apart from Donald Pleasance, who else did it?" And then I said, "Oh, Tom Kane did it."
Mhm.
So I went onto IMDb. I
Mhm.
contacted his agent, and
Right.
I go, "Would Tom Kane be interested in doing this Donald Pleasance, revisiting
Right.
the Dr. Loomis character again for this short film?"
Mhm.
And I go, "What exactly is it?" I go, "Well, we're coming up on the 30th," and I kind of, I'll exaggerate a little bit, but I go, "We're coming up on the 30th, and this is for the fans, and it's going to be featured on the Halloween site," which it was.
Right.
And here it's just a monologue basically. If he could just record it at his leisure, at his convenience,
Mhm.
that would be the end of it. 2 days later, I get an email from Tom Kane, and it's the dialogue with two takes on each line. I was like,
Mhm.
"Holy shit, he did it!"
Nice. That
I was
is
like, "Thank you."
wow.
So
Wow.
then, about 4 years later, I met him at a convention, um, back in like Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And I walked up to him and I go, "Tom, it's me, Chris. You did my thing." He goes, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember doing that. Did anyone get to see it?" He go, "Yeah, a lot of people got to see it. They really liked it." He goes, "Oh, good. I'm happy about that." And
Mhm.
I go, "Hey, this is going to be this might come at you left of field, but and at the time, I wanted to do a Powerpuff Girls Where Are They Now
Oh,
video.
right. Right.
So I said, would you be interested in playing the professor in like a VH1 style Where Are They Now thing?" He goes, "What do I have to do?" I go, "Just improv. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions and just improv and go nuts with it." He goes, "When do you want to do it?" I go, "How about now?" He goes, "Okay." I hand him a lab coat. I hand him a flask. I give him that. He suits up. He looks like the professor, but with gray hair.
Mhm.
And I fortunately I lost the tapes, but
Oh.
I had this footage of him just improvising, talking about how, you know, Bubbles has turned to the stripper pole.
Oh no! There's that joke. People made that
Yeah.
joke.
Buttercup is good for helping bury a body, and
Oh.
Buttercup has just straight
The
up
boss.
lost it.
Yeah.
And he was just, he was basically he was drinking and acting, and
Yep.
it was a funny moment. It was a really funny moment. But yeah, he was a really great sport about the whole thing, and he was just down to do
Mhm.
whatever. Didn't even ask why or care. He's like,
Right.
"Sure, why not? Let's have some fun."
A
And
lot of voice actors are like that. They love, especially if they're going to be derogatory with their characters.
I
Some
know,
are
and
protective. Others are like, let's do it.
I know, and I've come to find that there needs to be more of that in the world. So
Hmm.
I look for that, and I also try to be that. I
Right.
feel that being able to validate others, and if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a funny sketch?" I'm like, "Sure, let's just do it. Let's have fun."
Right. I wish him the best recovery still after
Me
what
too. Me
happened. That
too. I'm
was
really worried about him.
devastating. Yeah, because when I heard about it, I was like, oh no. And then they said, oh, he might, but it looks more and more like not coming back from anything. And that is
Yeah, it's
such a
sad.
shame. But you mentioned about Powerpuff Girls. I've seen you talking about saying, hey, let's show Hollywood how it's really done. Mind to give your thoughts on the whole CW show and everything?
Okay, so in 2016, the Cartoon Network actually had done a Powerpuff Girls reboot
I remember
cartoon.
that.
I wasn't particularly fond of it, but I was like,
Me neither.
whatever,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I wanted to do a Powerpuff Girls short film. I wanted to just do a PSA.
Hmm.
So I just put it out there for the hell of it, and it's my most popular video on my channel. Who knew, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
And I was just kind of like, okay, cool.
Hmm.
I have a video with 7 million views in it. That's badass. I'm
Right.
happy. Then there was the announcement of the Powerpuff Girls live action on CW, and I'm like,
Oh, boy.
okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if you're going to be able to pull it off. And then they use words like gritty and dark.
Yeah, you hear this, you're like, what are you doing? And then
Yeah.
the script gets leaked, and then
I'll
the
get to that in a
screenshots.
second. So
Screenshots
I was like,
first.
you know what? Fine. I don't want to be the hater of the situation. I was like, you know what? You guys do you. But I had everybody commenting on my video, like, this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm like, hey
Right.
guys, I appreciate you saying that, but mine's just a PSA.
Mhm.
It's not a narrative. But whatever, cool. Thank you
Right.
for watching my video. Then I saw the casting, and I'm like, all right.
Some of them all right, others.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm really trying my hardest to just stay out of this. I'm going to stay out of this. I'm going to stay out of this.
Right.
Then there was the script leak, and I got it, and I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy
Especially
shit!"
some of the stuff they don't think through, like what they have planned for the professor. Given who they cast, you're like, do you guys not think this through, or do you think, oh, we'll just put this cast there and no one's going to blink about it? It's like, you realize the implication you're doing?
What I don't understand is how it made it past the script phase. How did a producer not look at this and go, "What is this?"
They didn't know the characters. They didn't care about the characters. They saw IPs.
Yeah, and I got angry with that. And I'm like, all right. And I know that they're remaking it now, and they've gotten back to the drawing board now.
Who knows how well they're doing it?
After wasting $5 million. But it's just like, you guys are so stupid that you just burned all that money. Yeah. And rather than collect your losses and say, we fucked up, you're going to still try and make something else, knowing full well that everything you already had didn't work. You literally are going back to the drawing board, and I doubt it's going to come within a fraction of what it's supposed to be.
Me neither.
Like, that's it. You know what? I'm going to beat you to the punch. Out of pure spite, I'm going to make a short film, which I'm actually shooting on Saturday, and I'm going to release it before you release yours. So that way, when mine comes out and then yours comes out after, people can compare the two and go, yeah, what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah, can you give it a little tease? Not spoilers, just a little tease of it.
It's going to be the Powerpuff Girls as adults.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically going to do the opposite of everything that was in the leaked script. So in the leaked script, they hated the professor and they hated each other. Yeah. So in my script, they love the professor and they love each other. They're functioning adults. No one is a slut. No one is a psychopath. No one is in therapy, and no one is doing a reality show.
Right.
And it's going to feel like an episode of the Powerpuff Girls, but with them older.
All right, that sounds really cool.
It's just, I'm just doing the Powerpuff Girls grown up, and I'm going to have some very powerful callbacks to one particular episode that is a hard-hitting one. I'm not going to say what it is.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I'm not going to say it, but I think I know. It's the only one I can think of that you would want to do. You could do callbacks to. That would be that hard-hitting.
Okay.
Yep. I'll take a guess. I'll take a guess after we cut off. I'll take a guess after we cut off.
And what I'm going to do, how I'm going to tackle that specific episode is going to make any fan of the Powerpuff Girls go,
yep, exactly. If it's what I think it is, I'm already thinking that. But yeah, wow, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. And yeah, now one set of fan films I want to get before we just start jumping more around is your question one. You did 3 parts. I know how this thing went on with the Manhunter story, and I remember reading the comment saying when the actors left and everything. But was it more because of how that story resolved? Because I figured once the real thing happened, I'm like, oh no.
Absolutely. Because the way the comic books resolved the story,
Everyman,
I was like, screw this. This is stupid. You guys literally had an out, and I was giving you even more of an out, and you chose to make it Everyman.
Yeah, and then they killed him off not long afterwards.
I didn't care anymore. I didn't want to. They lost me as a reader on that storyline. I was like, you had the ability to go into this deep-seated conspiracy theory, repressed memories, clones, multiverses, folding over, shit like that, and they botched it. And I was like, I don't care. I do not care.
Mark Andreyko's a great writer. I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
Yeah,
he was dealing with the court case, I guess, but just Everyman. I'm glad they killed that guy off.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he is. But afterwards you would do like Mr. J and all that. Mr. J is one of my favorites from you. Just the idea of taking the Dark Knight Joker and giving him his Harley, but really breaking it down. Like until the graphic novel Harleen. I don't know if you ever read that or you've heard of it.
No, I never caught that one.
Oh, great artwork. Sexy artwork. It's Steven Sajic, I believe he's done. Known for doing I'll look it up later, but I can show you stuff of it later. But it's in that case, it's sexy, but it's like 3 big, oversized books that shows Harley breaking down. Not to the same way you do, but in her case, she's more lusting for him.
I feel
In your
that
yeah.
I thought about the whole lust aspect because
Mm-hmm.
that's already was explored back in 2009. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel that it's not a lust. She'll
Oh.
eventually develop feelings for him, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pure Charles Manson.
Oh yeah, and in the case with the Dark Knight Joker, yeah. Now the one in Harleen, oh no, he's like a pretty boy type of thing. You can more buy it, but yours, that's the only way it would work for the Heath Ledger one, and
Yeah, and
yeah,
I felt
everything.
when we were doing this, Kim and I, when we were writing the story together, we wanted to specifically hone in on the idea of this cult-like manipulation that the Joker possesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because how else, when you and I explored this also in my Punisher series in the first one where he was up
Oh
against
yeah.
Jigsaw. When your hands are tied behind your back, you don't have a weapon. The only weapons you have are your words.
Mm-hmm.
Words are powerful when calibrated to the right level. So, in the Punisher's instance, he had to buy himself time and then aggravate Jigsaw in order to escape. And for the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
he needed to weaken her just enough so that he could convince her to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a lot of work. And it can't just be, I'm handsome, you're going to fall for me. Because if you look at the
Oh no.
reality of the situation, she went to a medical school. She
Mm-hmm.
has a degree in criminal psychology. She's prepared for these eventualities of someone trying to seduce her.
Yep.
So so if the Joker went in with the intent of trying to seduce her, he would lose. But if the Joker goes in with the intent of trying to make her question everything that she's ever learned and throwing it out the window, now you get a
Mm-hmm.
different situation
Oh
because
yeah.
what is correct, what is reality essentially. Getting a person, it's gaslighting,
Mm-hmm.
and getting a
Definitely.
person to question everything they've ever known and loved is a hell of a task, but when done right, can work. So that
Oh
was where we
yeah.
went with it.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, that was great. And your final one was Superman. Oh, that I loved, especially
Die
how he.
laughing.
Yep, die laugh. Especially just how you did that. The whole idea, and this was before Man of Steel.
Yes. I wanted to anticipate what a Christopher Nolan style Superman would be. And I had
Mm-hmm.
some people who obviously didn't pay enough attention try and get caught up on the fact that, oh, Superman would never kill or threaten to kill. And I'm like, well, first off, in Man of Steel, he did, but that's beside the point. I go, did you
Mm-hmm.
even see the movie? Die laughing because Joker calls him out on that
Oh yeah.
and says, you're not a killer and you're not going to kill people. You're a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
You're only using that tactic to scare me. But because I'm not scared of dying, you possess no strength over me.
Yep.
And thus the Joker breaks Superman and says, if everybody else finds out what I know, you're screwed.
Oh yeah. You don't bother trying to keep pulling that act. People
Yeah.
are going to just catch on and be like, "Who?" And then they'll know. Then they can use you, manipulate you.
Essentially, because I was actually just watching Superman 2 today, and yeah, Superman cares about people. And once Zod
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody
He
figured that
cares.
out, they started targeting other people, thus
Mm-hmm.
weakening Superman. So you can't. If Superman just arrived in a Nolan world,
Mm-hmm.
seeing a Bale Batman and a Heath Ledger Joker, he would
Yeah.
want to attempt to come off as more Omni Man esque or Homelander esque.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh
knowing
God.
full well it's Kal-El Clark Kent,
Mm-hmm.
that's a front. That's a facade. It would, if anybody is clever enough to realize he's bullshitting or call his bluff.
Oh, yeah.
If his eyes glow and go, and they're like, "All right, fine, melt my head," and he's just like,
Oh yeah.
"I'm not going to
that
do
Joker
it."
would do it. Yeah.
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 So, because I figure prior to him meeting the Joker, maybe his eyes glowed red and people got scared and
Oh,
told him
well,
whatever he
technically,
wanted.
it's the angry God look. I call it. I always call it the angry God look.
But yeah, well, if you call his bluff, Superman eventually would have to fold, and Joker
Mm-hmm.
did that. And I think that was a really good another angle for the Joker to show that how much of a formidable opponent he is because he's such a nihilist that he is willing to laugh in the face of death. He would
Yep.
die laughing.
Definitely. And I also love how you set up with the prankster. Now, did Joker at all know anything about that, or was it pure coincidence? Like the
Pure coincidence. There actually is the prankster, and I
Mhm.
just wanted to have that out there. I figured the Joker would be familiar with the prankster,
Mhm.
but it's one of those, I didn't do that.
Yeah,
That was him. I was here.
exactly.
That was him, not me.
Yep. So he just happened to go there and probably wasn't even expecting Batman and Superman to be all like, "Where are the kids?" He'd be like, "What kids?" But he probably felt also, oh, I could so use this. I could so use this to my advantage.
Well, I know that he wanted to. The whole point is that he wanted to just meet Superman. That was the purpose of going there,
Hmm.
was to meet Superman. So that's why he just walks in and puts the
Yep.
weapons down and asks to be arrested because,
Hmm.
he's had to have done something.
Right.
Um, but then yeah, the prankster situation. Maybe he probably saw the prankster situation in the news and figured, all right, this is probably a
Yep.
good time to go in there and just see what I can see. But
Definitely.
yeah, knowing full well that he's innocent in Gotham, they would extradite him back to, or innocent in Metropolis, they would extradite him back to Gotham,
Hmm.
and nothing would happen with him in Metropolis anyway. So he basically had a foolproof escape plan if he remained in custody.
Hmm.
But since he had Harley to bail him out at the end, also he didn't
Right.
need that either.
Yep. Very true. Yeah, I gotta say, one of the weirdest fan films you did was the Kirby one.
Oh God,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was one of the weirdest ones you ever did. I was just like, just that little CGI thing, well done. But where did that idea come from?
There was actually a contest, I believe. I think it was a G4 contest or a Wizard World contest, but I'm probably leaning more towards G4,
Hmm.
where they go, make a short film about, I think it was your favorite Nintendo character or Smash Brothers character. That sounds about right. I don't
Right.
remember, but I wanted to do Kirby. I thought that'd be really funny. So I was friends with Mike Fast, who played Zangief in the College Humor Street Fighter, the later years
Right.
series. So I had Zangief in it and Kirby in it, and my friend Brimstone, who was a former wrestler, I threw him in, and I just wanted the idea. And I remember those '90s commercials for Kirby, where like there was like that muscular guy flexing, Kirby just sucked him up and ate him.
Hmm.
That was kind of the joke I wanted. I want to have this very serious, fighter movie, and you're like, what is this? What is going on? And then he just
Oh
sees
yeah, like
Kirby
what?
in the pit, and it's just like, hi.
And then of course, like, don't annoy him, nudges him.
Yeah, eats him up, swallows him, and then spits his ass out, and it's just basically, it was the weirdest thing possible. I don't think I won anything for it, but I
Right.
wanted to be able to say that I could do it. So yeah, I would love to always see Kirby in like a Fight Club style situation, like a cage,
Hmm.
in an underground boxing tournament,
Hmm.
like what was it, Danny the Dog,
All right.
where like you have all these people just throwing money and gambling and betting, and it's just fucking Kirby.
Hmm. Now we could go over all of your fan films, but we'd be here all day for
I
that.
know.
But ones I could bring up was like Rick and Morty with Johnny Bravo. That was a great little April Fool's Day surprise. That
That was a huge mislead on my part on purpose.
Yep. I remember you saying in the
I
description.
wanted to
Someone,
do Rick
yeah,
and Morty,
yep.
but I wanted to mess with people. So I don't know if we released that on April Fool's Day or not,
Yeah,
but
I think it was because you did
was
both
it
of them.
cool?
Yeah, because you did both of them. You did the first one. People were like, "Huh?" And then you did the other. You really said, "Make it like this is what it really is."
Well, I did. I released the video twice. The first was
Mm,
as Johnny
Johnny,
Bravo, and then Rick and Morty ruin a fan film, and then the other one was just Rick and Morty ruin a fan film,
right,
because I wanted to also see what's more popular. I wanted to kind of play with the algorithm and see what was going to do better and how people were going
right,
to watch shit. So that was a very interesting, you know,
right.
time, and a very interesting experiment nonetheless. But yeah, the goal was always to troll people and just lie and see how mad people were.
Oh yeah, and I'll be honest. I was one to look at. I was like, "Oh Jesus, really?" But I mean, the whole premise was Johnny alone being all like, "Yeah, his antics wouldn't work outside of his little hometown or whatever."
Well, his antics don't work
Well,
at
period.
all,
Well,
even
yeah.
in today's standards,
Oh,
because
definitely.
he's a rapist.
I don't think he's ever gone that
No,
far,
I
but
know, but like he's a sexual predator nonetheless.
true.
And yes, he's always been the foil. He's always been made fun of. But
Mhm.
in terms of
Yeah,
comedy, in terms of humor, that's a one-trick pony. You
that's
can
very
only
true.
say the same joke so many times before it gets redundant and boring.
Well,
That's
they did
why
make.
Johnny ended up later having all of those additional side characters that
Yeah,
he
because
had
you
to
couldn't
do
do any
because
more. Yeah,
just
I
being
get
"Hey,
that.
mama" is not enough anymore.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you had
yeah,
well, Lil Susie was there from the beginning, but you also had Carl and Pops.
Carl pops, and then Mama came in.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just it was a little silly. So I wanted to really just play up how Johnny Bravo is kind of sort of a one note joke
Right.
that is
But it
only
fits the Rick and Morty
serviceable to be
setting, though.
ruined.
It fit the Rick and Morty setting because that's what I think they would do if they were to have him meet up with him. It would be like, they would probably, the creators of Rick and Morty probably think the same thing. Let's make fun of Johnny while we're at it before they do their shtick.
Well, I also wanted to kind of make fun of myself a little bit, which is why it's fan film Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not even C-137. That's fan film world Rick and Morty. So
Right.
in the multiverse, there is a fan film Rick and Morty world,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they look like. They're three-dimensional, and they're played by these people, and I thought that's funny. So essentially, my short film is actually canon.
Right. So, which have you gotten more enjoyment out of? Doing fan films for horror IPs or comic books?
Was just asked this question yesterday,
Oh,
and it's kind of funny. It's actually a little bit of both.
oh.
I believe that while I do love scaring people, I also love inspiring people. So it's a mutual thing for me. I love to scare people just as much as I love to make them feel good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll try and do both at once, but other times it really depends on my mood, and those are my two moods. Being terrifying and being very inspirational.
Right. Because I will say, for example, because a lot of those, like doing like the Tiffany and Chucky ones or all those, the Tiffany and Chucky one, good God, you got some great actors there.
Linnell definitely killed it as Tiffany.
Definitely. I mean, for a moment, for a few, sometimes it was the right shot. I actually thought it was Jennifer Tilly. A few shots, a few of the right angles. You're like, wait, no,
Yeah.
that's that.
And I think my favorite bit in all three of those is her last line in her second to last line in part 3. And Linnell, I believe, actually had this as her banner on her Facebook. It's just like, you think you're smart, and if you're so smart, why are you fucking dead?
That's so Tiff. It's so Tiff. I can't wait for that TV show, the TV show to come out. I cannot wait.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm kind of upset that they're not doing what I was doing, and that I actually sent my series to Don, and if I was Don, I'd be like, a prequel series set in the '80s where it's a young Tiffany and Chucky, and that could be interesting. And now, obviously, I know that he's incredibly loyal to Jennifer Tilly, and I don't fault him for that. And you can't, she's in her 60s now. You can't de-age her to her 20s. So that's kind of out, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. She would be down to have maybe somebody play her and do that, because I know everybody wants to know what happened before.
Oh yeah.
And I really
and again, what kind of relationship was this? It wasn't.
Tried it.
Yeah, because it's like, what kind of relationship was this? They're not Joker and Harley. You would think they were, but they're definitely not.
I view them more as a natural born killer style relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the way to go about it, because Tiffany, as enamored as she is with Chucky in my series, you can kind of see her actually pulling strings.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which you always got a little hint of that when they were dolls, when they're in the doll forms. There are so many times where she's clearly, coaxing him along, and he's all like, "Yeah, whatever," and she knows that's going to be his reaction.
I know, and I feel that exploring that relationship and showing her as an actual support beam for Chucky, not a system but a beam, and act like she actually is the foundation that he can operate on, would be a very interesting story set in 1980 Chicago. And if you're ever running out of ideas, just end the series with the cops chasing his ass Christmas week.
Oh yeah, it could be at any point at all, as long as you just end it there.
Yeah.
So, out of all the fan films, the one that caught me off guard the most, well, two of them. One was just how powerful it was that Superman End of an Era. That one, I loved every moment of it. It felt like such an amazing love letter to Superman, and I could see some nods to other versions, but it felt like its own thing, and you're like, oh, wow, this feels like the last talk between Superman and Lex, and it was like, again, just so well, powerfully acted.
Thank you. I wanted for that one to make this feel like Superman 5. Because I know that there were talks with Christopher Reeve, and Gerard Christopher was supposed to be in it as Superman, and Reeve was supposed to direct, and the accident happened and everything fell through and whatever. But since it never happened, there was always the idea of an open-ended Superman 5. And I looked up the plot hints for what their version was supposed to be. There wasn't much to go on. And so I said, okay, how do we send off Christopher Reeves as Superman? And I felt dealing with a dying Lex Luthor, a dying Gene Hackman Lex Luthor, because thing I hated the most about Hackman's Lex is that he would refer to himself as a criminal mastermind. I know that was from the time where bad guys were bad guys, but I don't feel that a human being would relish in being a criminal mastermind.
Not that much.
Not that much. So I wanted to also do a little bit of a redemption arc for that version of Lex and have him basically go, I was young.
Yeah. You remember the old days when I was young and I chose to wear a wig why do I need it?
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of just acknowledge a little bit of that and then go back to what I believe the relationship with Lex and Superman is supposed to be. Jealousy.
Oh, yep. In any version, it's jealousy, post or pre.
So no matter what the deal is, it's always been, how is it you're perfect and I am not? So I wanted to deal with that, and then the storyline where you find that Lex actually just wants to die.
Yeah,
but he wants
that
to
makes
be
sense.
At the hands of Superman. I felt was a great Lex Luthor style thing. He's like, all right, I'm going to get my final revenge on you. I am going to kill Clark Kent, or Superman technically, but I'm going to have you put me in on my misery in doing so because it hurts.
Definitely. Because that's the one thing you can really do. Get him to kill someone, you've broken him. Have him break his one rule. That's what happened with, although I will argue with it, the way it was executed, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Yes, wait. Was that the fan film? Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow?
No. I'm talking about the comic, the Alan Moore story.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
I feel that always having that one thing, the I won't kill thing, is what will always set a superhero apart from a supervillain.
Oh yeah.
And if there is a superhero that does kill, they're an anti-hero as far as I'm concerned.
Which is most of Marvel these days.
Right. So I really wanted to play up on that. And then bringing in, Batman, I felt was it
makes sense.
So I wanted to not do the traditional thing. I know having the Elfman music would have immediately gave away what was going to happen next. So I wanted to use a theme that no one would recognize, but sense something was weird.
Right.
So I stole music from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, smart.
I stole the Prowler's theme because that was really good.
That is perfect.
I love the Prowler theme, and I'm like, that is a great Batman theme right there.
Definitely.
And so I saw a couple of reaction videos to End of an Era, and everyone did the exact same thing. I played that part in the opening title sequence, and people heard that, they're like,
Wait, where have I heard that? Yeah.
The hell is that?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Let's watch the movie.
Yeah.
Now, if you actually pause the movie, there actually is a single frame outline of the bat symbol.
Ooh, I will look it up later.
So when you hear it, if you could pause at the right moment, you will see a bluish white outline of the bat symbol as the S comes at you.
I'm gonna look that up when we're done. When we are done, I'm gonna look that up. That is great attention to detail.
So then, the movie plays, and then the situation with Lois unfolds, and everyone who was reacting to that, they're like, "Oh, he didn't. No, he didn't," because you don't see anything. You just see the guy run in the room firing, and then you see Superman's reaction, and so on and so forth. Then you start hearing that theme again, and people are like, someone watched the video, go, "What is that theme? What is that theme? What is that?" And then fucking Batman shows up, and then they lose their shit, and I love that moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was so great. But again, and then the end of it was, Lex just completely broken. Like, this was my last chance, and that was great. But the other film, Skynet, the moment you announced that, I'm just like, holy shit! And again, just like your the last fight night Halloween, and all that, trying to close the door, especially after how dark faked. It's like, oh, we're gonna start up a trilogy, another trilogy again. It's like, why do you guys have to start up a trilogy? Let's do one more.
They've been all right. So Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and Terminator Dark Fate were part ones of 3 different trilogies that never happened.
Yeah, at least though Salvation got a comic send off by JMS that he did that basically wrapped it up and tied it back into the first 3 movies at least.
Salvation was okay, and I think everyone says the same thing. Salvation was an okay movie. But there's this.
It got screwed up by executive meddling after the leak.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I feel that with Genesis and Dark Fate, it's never going to end. Yeah. There's always going to be another moron trying to make another shitty trilogy because they don't know how to end anything. And I'm like, all right, well here I go again, killing things. I feel like Carbopulous Michael's like, well, here I go again, ending franchises.
Exactly. But
with that one, I just straight up said, enough with the sequels. I am going to give you a definitive ending that if you're a fan and you're tired of the sequels, you could pop in my movie, and that was it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep, and
getting Michael Edwards back as John Connor, I thought was
he
really
set the standard. Everything else is based off of his look.
I know, and he didn't know that.
Oh, really? He didn't?
Yeah, he was unaware of all of these, of his image being reused as action figures, game skins,
future settings,
animated.
Everything.
And anytime someone draws future John Connor, they're drawing Michael Edwards, and he had no idea.
They make sure he gets the scar, like even in Salvation, they made sure he got the scar and everything. It's like everyone connects back to his look, and just that. And when you look at it, the funny thing about it is, it says everything you need about adult John that all the other actors doing adult John failed to do. It's like, and Nick Stahl, God bless him. I mean, it's like he knew he was never going to match the look, but I get what they were going for with that one. That's why 3 is the only one I accept. I can and Salvation to a degree, but 3 is the only one I'm like, it's the best one out of the sequels, in my opinion.
They were trying, and at least they ended it on a grim note. So
a grim note,
that credit, but delaying the whole Judgment Day thing, I think, was a bad idea personally.
Well, the way I look at it is this, and this is a big Terminator fan. It was easier when we relied on hardware. Back when we relied on hardware, you can destroy hardware. You can blow it up, and it's gone. As we started moving more into software, it kind of made Judgment Day more inevitable because, like John said at the end, it's software. You can't stop it. Mm-hmm. So that's how I always look. I looked at it that if it's more up to us as humanity to prevent it, and the more we rely on technology, the more and more we're making sure it happens. So it's less it delayed it so much as we stopped it, but it was a new stuff kind of led into it.
I feel that dealing with the 2003 delay idea of Judgment Day can't be stopped I think is silly. Which is why my short film had to undo that also. Mm-hmm. With Judgment Day itself, I feel that humanity is always going to become more reliant on technology because that's how we are as people. We're lazy. Exactly. But I feel that giving Skynet the ability to change, having Skynet have a moment of clarity, is the actual natural progression of things. Humans are too greedy and selfish to just give up something, but to make a sentient artificial intelligence become so intelligent that it can understand human nature and not want to murder it,
definitely,
I feel is the only way to make that work. So having Skynet basically go, okay, you guys are always going to be a certain way, but I was wrong to kill you in the first place, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm about to undo everything is the only way to really have a story go.
Right. I mean, the only other option is what, again, JMS did, have them come to a peace accord, but that only stops it in the future. Because that's what they do. They basically came to a understanding of like, we've been escalating constantly. You do it, you make meta Terminators. We then get more desperate and push on it. It's never going to end, so why don't we just stop and come to an understanding? Of course, it takes Skynet really screwing up and bring in a total psychopath who started to usurp him to be like, okay, fine, help me, and we'll come to peace.
And that's a fine future story.
Oh, yeah, it is. But not definitive. It's not definitive.
It's not definitive, yeah. And the thing is, though, eventually we'll be living in the year 2029. We've
Oh
already
yeah.
outlived Judgment Day. It was
Mm-hmm.
1997. I remember when I was a kid and that day came
Oh,
and went. I
I
was looking
remember
around.
that.
I'm like,
I was one of those. I was one of those because I still remember, even though I knew it was a movie, I always remember having nightmares of the nukes going off, and I'm just like, it's coming. When I was younger, like, and when it was like around, yeah, 97, it was like around 2000, but I'm still like, it's coming. It's going to come one day, and then,
I remember. Okay, so we basically outlived all the big apocalypses that are going to be in our lifetime. We
oh yeah.
outlived Judgment Day. We
Mm-hmm.
outlived Y2K.
Right.
We outlived 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got past 2012, I was like, I think we're pretty good right now. I
Yeah,
don't think
agreed.
the next scheduled major fictional apocalypse is going to happen within my particular lifetime, so I'm kind of good right now.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I feel that because of that, you have these stories that are now very dated, like Blade Runner. Blade Runner took place in the future world of 2019. Yeah.
Yep. Or
The
Back to the Future
Jetsons
2.
lived in the far distant year of 2002.
At least Futurama set way out there.
3000, yeah. So I feel that because of that, you can't have a piece of cord where the machine's in the year 2029 because that's 8 years from now. So the only way to make the story work and keep what was alive in Terminator going is to say, well, we undid it.
Right.
With Skynet stopping Judgment Day from happening, you still have the alternate future where it happened.
Oh yeah.
But we prevented it from happening.
Yep, and we already know from the type of time travel that clearly it's not a grandfather time travel, because otherwise, oh boy, there'd be so many type of.
No, I know. I view it as okay. It's basically
I look like a spiral.
branch realities.
A branch. Oh, I look like a spiral kind of. Where
No. So this is the math here.
All right.
So the future from the 1984 Terminator film, the future that Kyle Reese comes from, he is the biological father of John Connor. However, the John Connor that he is coming from is not his biological son.
Oh, that's good.
All right,
that's clever.
So
that's clever.
Timeline A happens. John Connor is born in 1984 or 1985. His father is some random individual. Judgment Day happens in 1997. John is just a soldier in the future trying to survive. He because he's such a great military leader, the Skynet targets him in the past and says we're going to prevent him from being born. So John enlists Kyle, who's his best friend, says I need you to go back in time and protect my mother. That Kyle is in love with John's mom
from the
John
photo,
not even realizing it, sends him back in time. He ends up fathering a child, which will now become John Connor.
Oh, so you're taking out the assumption people made that John knew. You're just cutting out that assumption.
Well, that could be timeline A, or the future that we see is timeline B. Either way, the movie takes place either in timeline B or in timeline C, depending on how you want to look at it. So either Michael Edwards is, and then this is another way to look at it, Michael Edwards is the John Connor from timeline A, but Edward Furlong is the John Connor of timeline B and C, and so on and so forth.
Yep, which is why I was able to accept with Genesis. It felt like, okay, if you're going to keep on having this whole degradation of, people, Skynet learns sooner and sooner, you're eventually going to get to that point where some future Skynet is going to say, why should I send them there? Why shouldn't I just circumvent it even sooner?
I know. The problem with that, though...
Oh, yeah, the execution was horrible. The execution.
I know. The problem with it is, all right, all the rules were already established in the first film. The rules were, the grid was smashed, we had won, the Skynet was just being... The Terminator was just being systematic, So it sent back the Terminator to a random point in time before John was born without any real knowledge of who Sarah Connor was. Right. Then you could say, all right... So Skynet also sent back a prototype T-1000 to 1991 to also target John. Kill two birds with one stone. But Skynet isn't just sending random-ass Terminators all the time. It only had so many opportunities to do so before the Resistance came in and stopped it all.
Right, which again, going back to JMS, he played that up at first. And then that's why the first two went at one point. It was then the third one, TX that happened a little bit after that initial one. Like basically, they did it. They tried to smash
what
it.
the fuck is a TX compared to a T1000?
Well, I agree.
The T1000 was an advanced prototype. What is a TX then?
Well, to be fair, James Cameron did kind of shoot himself in the foot when he did the live show and gave it the T1 million.
That was stupid too, but
yeah, but I'm just saying James Cameron himself gave us a even more advanced prototype.
James Cameron himself also said that Terminator Genesis was a renaissance.
And then he backpedaled, and then he said Dark Fate was, and then he backpedaled.
I know.
Now he says do a parody.
But anyway, so what I did with my Skynet movie, and I feel the easiest way to do it was the knowledge that Kyle Reese gives Sarah Connor is everything that he knows up until he goes back in time.
Right.
To say that, oh, the grid was smashed, we'd won.
Well, as far as he knew,
you believe that. It's a trap. I had that Skynet plan that.
Nice.
And I think having that in my short film gives you that backdoor thing to all the other shitty sequels, but then I also take them all away by saying, no, that's not happening anymore.
Not this time. I'm letting you know, not this time. Oh, yeah, that, again, great. And, just had a question, since you're a Terminator fan. Have you played the game, Resistance?
No, I haven't played Resistance because I don't have any real console right now. The last Terminator game I played was the arcade version, the side shooter.
Oh, because seriously, that was and the Resistance really good. Such a great throwback to everything.
So I've heard that. I actually used music from Resistance in my short.
Oh yeah, I think I thought I recognized that, but it's just the fact you can stumble upon like the tech noir and everything. You're just like, wow. You play as the Terminator that infiltrated in the DLC, the one that attacked and shot up the place where Kyle was in his flashback. You're just like, wow. And
I'm sure that's awesome. Again, I'm just really behind on games, unfortunately.
Oh, I understand. I'm just they're not doing RoboCop.
I heard about that today. That sounds really cool. It'd be nice if they gave you like a Grand Theft Auto style RoboCop where you're just patrolling.
Oh yeah. Now, are there any type of IPs you still want to do one day?
Yes. I would love to do. Actually do an Old Man Murphy RoboCop story.
Oh, Old Man. Oh, I get like Old Man Logan, right? Like,
yeah. I'd want to do one where he is, obviously old, and we're maybe in a post-apocalyptic thing, but it would be his last mission where he'd have to either self-sacrifice or shut down at the end. But I really want to see him just go out in a blaze of glory, and trying to save someone or something.
Right. That sounds so like him.
They would be awesome to do. And I think it would be really nice to just see like his last glimmer of humanity, just on full display as he's being like this unmasked badass with like this rusted body. Yeah.
Oh, might we give a suggestion for what you could do? What if he's saving someone? We never say who it is at all until the very end. When his last words, he asks, "What's your name, kid?" before he goes. And it's Murphy. It's a descendant of his wife or his son. But he doesn't know. He didn't know until then. He had no idea until that moment.
I think he'd probably know just in general because I see him keeping tabs on
true. He would keep
his
tabs.
Family. But I would rather it be him being asked the question. He's saving somebody who doesn't know who RoboCop is, and it's just like, who are you? And then his dying words would be Murphy, and then he just shuts down.
Oh, that'd be even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying, just trying to keep that. That would feel like the perfect final mission would be. Like I just said, forever be connected back to his family, save him and everything. And that's my opinion anyway. You could obviously do what you want, but just a suggestion I'm throwing out there.
Cool. Other projects I would like to do. I just kind of want to go a little bit larger scale. I would love to be able to do something involving like, more stunts. Like I had done a Knight Rider short film, but I would love to do like a car chase with Knight Rider, or maybe Christine.
Knight Rider versus Christine.
Yeah.
With Herbie. Oh, gee, those three. If you had those three.
No. If I did a Christine movie, I would want to do Christine 2. I'd want to do a straight up sequel. And,
that remake.
I would want Christine in a Tesla.
Oh!
Yeah.
That would be terrifying. That would be terrifying. I know.
Imagine if Christine could talk to you.
Oh God! What voice would you see her having? Would it be a sexy voice, or would you see it as a?
I see her having a sexy female voice. You get somebody who has like a nice, deep Jessica Rabbit style voice.
Oh yeah.
and just
Definitely.
venting her frustrations basically. And she's like, no, this is why I'm killing you. I think that would be the way to go about it.
Yeah, give us some insight into her that we're not just assuming. Now, granted, of course, you would be confirming she is the killer, which, let's be honest, the movie always kept it, like it was mostly, one way, but it could be a little ambiguous. But yeah, you know what I mean. But still, are there any others or like comic IPs? Any comic IPs?
Let's see. I've pretty much done a lot of them. I have on my Facebook a list of things I still want to. Oh, Super Patriot. I want to do Super Patriot from the Savage Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I remember Super
that
Patriot.
Guy and his bionic limbs that just change and morph into different weapons. I would love to try and do Super Patriot. I would love to do a Violator clown movie.
Oh, Violator, yes.
I had already done a video where I did a voice impersonation of the character, but I would love to get in the makeup and actually act that part out and just tell a story from his perspective, not Spawn's.
Right, definitely not Spawn.
Basically, how he is angry and jealous, and yelling at Malbolgia like, "Why do you keep picking this idiot to lead your armies? Look at me! I've been here since day one. I'm ready to do it."
Oh yeah.
What's so special about him?
Oh yeah, and especially the way you're doing, you almost got a little close to the voice right there. What I would say, like,
well,
why
my clown voice is basically this, so it's I just don't understand why. Why you have him do it? Have me do it, and just kind of go that like
yeah,
that.
exactly. So yeah, yeah.
Another one, I'm actually pretty interested in maybe tackling like Val Zod or Calvin Ellis Superman.
Oh yeah, one of those two. Yeah, because seriously, you just so tell when you see people when they come and say, "Oh, we're gonna do Clark Kent." It's like, why? They don't want Black Clark. They want one of these two. The fact that mainstream knows enough about these two, even though they haven't appeared in anything, that speaks volumes.
I was shocked to find out that Calvin Ellis has been around since the 70s.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even know that.
But yeah, and all Grant did was just clean him up and let's make him president.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
I would like to definitely tackle at least one of those in the foreseeable future. It always just comes down to costumes and special effects. But
ever thought about doing Batman Who Laughs?
What?
Ever thought about doing Batman Who Laughs, or was that too complicated of a costume?
Too complicated. Oh, one thing I would love to do: F-Zero.
Oh, yep.
That would be do an F-Zero movie about Captain Falcon. And I actually had I written a treatment for it as to how I would tackle it, and just have like these insane races and all this shit going on. There's like a really cool twist in there, and I do homages to the anime as well as the game, so it's kind of a healthy balance and whatnot in terms of story. But I would definitely love to tackle F-Zero in like that really futuristic world, but that's way out of my price range.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Even doing CG, green screen would still be like,
you still have to at least build the cockpit of the cars, and then you can make it, because don't forget there is like an alien, Pico. It's one of the aliens in the race, and then again, having the CG cars and all that. It's just, it's way too much for me to pull off. It's just out of my realm right now.
Yep. Now, going on to one final topic, when it comes to other fan films, are there any recommendations you have, and are there any ones that you feel like are a bit overblown or like get too much hype?
Okay, so unfortunately, and I don't want to shit on the channel or anything, but I believe that the Bat in the Sun films are really overdone.
I'm not going to argue.
$100,000 budgets, and of course, oh my god, it looks like a movie. Well, what did you expect for $100,000? Of course, it's going to look like a movie. If he was working and producing the same quality film for $5,000, holy shit, hire this guy. But because he's doing it for the budgets of actual independent productions, I'm not that impressed, and I really wish people weren't that impressed either, because money makes things happen. Money makes things look better. And it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna shit on my film? I had $100 when I made my movie. He has $100,000 when he makes his movie. There's a huge difference that is to be expected.
Oh yeah, it's like that one guy, Audrey, whatever, he does the bootleg verse,
Addy Shaker,
yeah, Addy Shaker, like same thing. He gets getting this big name stuff, and you're like, oh, it's a fan film. I mean, the only one I would say is a fan film because you know it was love was the Nathan Fillion Uncharted one. I'm like,
Yeah,
I count
but
that
the
one because
Atari one had that was a huge budget, and he
yeah,
had big name celebrities and CG. He had a lot
yeah,
of CG involved
yeah. At
in
least
that
the
stuff.
Uncharted one, you could tell like for what these actors were, it was low budget for these
Yeah,
actors. Doing this like there's like let's just have fun and do this. Let's not.
exactly. And I don't feel that large budget fan films impress me. I
Yeah,
don't think people should be impressed by a large budget fan film either. I
exactly.
really feel that's the bare minimum. So I try to steer away from those. Um,
The only exception
there's
is
also
Star
like these
Wars,
large
really.
budget Friday the 13th and Chucky
Yeah,
movies. And again, I'm not
yeah,
impressed. I don't
yeah.
care if, and the thing is, it's unfortunate. People are so starved for content that they're willing to overlook certain things and go, "Oh my god, this is amazing." No, 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 no. You're starved for content and you're just happy something's being made. You
Yeah,
don't care
exactly.
how good it is or how expensive it is. It's just being made and you're happy to consume the content.
And I'm guilty of that sometimes, not always, but sometimes. It depends
But
on
it
what the
happens.
look is. It depends on
Now,
the
in
look of
terms
it. Yeah.
of low budget fan films that actually are impressive,
Hmm.
I said this one yesterday and I'll say it again. I keep giving this guy all the praise in the world because it was a really good fan film. He did Halloween Absolute Evil, in
That
which
rings a bell. That
it
rings
was
a
a
bell.
documentary
Oh,
in which he is interviewing the survivors of 1978. He's
oh,
treating Michael like a real life person. And this is made before the 2018 movie. So basically, all the sequels, for the most part, at least the Sister Saga, are canon.
mm-hmm,
So Halloween 1, 2, 4, or maybe 7 at least.
mm-hmm.
And the way he shot it and the actors that he got to improvise in this movie, it was really good. Just seeing
Oh,
them being
I
interviewed
just
as
looked.
if
I
they
just
were
looked
on
it
like
up.
a true crimes documentary.
Mm-hmm. I just looked it up. I'm gonna check it out later. I mean, I've heard of
It's a
it.
great fan film, and I think it's like a half hour long, but he did a really good job. And I wrote him a while back and told him that he did. And I always think about that one because there are so many Halloween fan films. I myself am guilty of making a bunch of them,
Mm-hmm.
but out of all the Halloween fan films I've seen, apart from mine, that's the only one that I remember because it was done differently.
Actually, it's an hour and a half long.
Hour and a half long. Yeah, he went the distance.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw that length, and I'll just say this: there are some cases where I can understand, like Jurassic Park, Star Wars. If they're going to go out with some of the effects on those ones, those were already special effects, movies to begin with. So those are the type of fan films. Of course, you see them all over the place. They're the more frequent ones. I always try
Right.
to find the ones that you don't see often.
I
You
feel
know,
that finding the lower budget fan films that are impressive are the true
hmm
gems.
exactly,
Because, again, if I had $100,000, but if I have $100,000 to make a fan film, I have $100,000 to make an original movie,
exactly.
which is
Just do
quite hard
that.
to do
Yeah,
because I don't have a fan base I'm tapping into, and I'm doing an original idea and I'm putting it out there and I'm gambling on myself. If I'm
exactly.
making a $100,000 Batman fan film, I already have a fan base to tap into. Of course, it's going to go viral. You know.
Exactly. But
So I feel that it's very important to remember what the purpose of a fan film is.
hmm
It's to do what Hollywood can't, won't, or hasn't done.
exactly.
And if you're pouring in hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars into a fan film, you're not doing what Hollywood can't, won't, or hasn't done because Hollywood
Yeah,
has been doing that. They've been pouring money into IPs and hoping they get them right. Do it without
yeah,
a budget first and tell me if you can still pull off what you're doing. If the answer is
exactly.
no, then you make
Do a
the
rough. Do a rough one is why I say do a rough one, and then if you can get the budget, do the big budget. But don't do it off the bat.
yeah. Again, I feel that the flooding, the saturation of the market of fan films with these higher budget films is ruining it for other people because, even Sandy Colora, he had a $30,000 budget for Batman Dead End, and
Hmm.
it's like all these people have money to do these higher end projects, and yeah, sometimes it looks really good, sometimes it's inspirational, but that shouldn't be the standard. The norm
Right.
should not be, oh, if I want to make a fan film, I need to have like $50,000 to make a fan
No.
film. No, no. The standard should be, oh, I want to make a fan film. I gotta go make a costume. Okay, go
Exactly.
make a costume and get
Exactly.
back to me. That's it. That's it. Make a costume and make a movie.
Yep. And like you said in your Mr. Terrific video in the descriptions, it's gotten easier. all the cosplays and everything and made it so much easier. But these people feel like, no, it has to be this and that. It's like, in other words, you want to make your version. You don't want to be a faithful version.
And that's fine and everything. And I
yeah.
feel that if you want to be a faithful version and the costumes that are out there are not good enough, by all means make a costume. But you don't need $100,000 to make a costume. You can do that for a couple of $100 and still get quality work, especially if you're surrounding yourself with talented enough people. So yeah, I really hope, and I know it's not going to happen, but I really hope that we see less higher budgeted fan films out there and more lower budgeted fan films that
like they used
manage to keep the same quality as those bigger budgeted movies.
I think that's the one downside with except for someone like you. Unfortunately, a lot of those very early fan films, really, you had like the death of Batman, where some guy gets to jump on him and then tortures him to death. Remember? Yeah, it's like, what the heck was that? But it's like people think about things like that, and you're just like, no, that's not it. And again, you're the gold standard, in my opinion, of the low budget but still very faithful, and everything fan film. And
it's a fine line to walk, and if you can walk it, you can really create some amazing stories. I also feel that a good fan film feels canon.
Oh,
you
definitely.
You watch it and go, "Oh no, that would totally happen." I totally believe this is canon. I've had so many people say it. When I watch Terminator 1 and 2, I pop in yours at the end. That's my trilogy. When I watch Nightmare on Elm Street, I watch the Krueger series, and I pop in Nightmare on Elm Street. It's solid. It's complete. Having people include your work in their headcanon, I think is the greatest compliment ever. And I think everyone should really try and strive for that, rather than trying to just be new and different so strange, it's never been done before. Try and make something that'll actually make people embrace it.
Exactly. Like, if I was to do a fan film, well, one, I'll be honest, I'm an Elseworld nut. I would do something that was in an Elseworld, but it was still,
You could still do, like, the death of Batman. That's an Elseworld story. Just say, I'm doing an Elseworld story, and fine.
Vampire Batman. I would do Vampire Batman because, of course, that's the big thing. Do I do it just with Batman as a vampire, or do I do the whole Monty and actually try to make it look like Kelly Jones's work?
I would always lean towards trying to make it look and feel like the book itself, like you're taking.
Yeah, so Kelly Jones, you would need a
One of my favorite Elseworld stories was there was a Superman story where it was Superman is a comic book, and this guy who basically got the raw deal. He got picked on, he got set up, sent to jail.
Real world. It was the real world. That was the real world.
He worked for the mafia.
Yeah, that was the real world. The Superman.
Real world. Sorry, I really like that. That's to tackle.
And the ending of that was so heartbreaking. It's like he lived a good life and he died of a heart attack. Yeah, and he knew it was coming. And that was the worst part. He knew it was coming, so he's like, might as well write my story out. And no one knew until they ripped open that shirt and they're like, what was this guy's story? I wonder where he got that.
And I thought that was just a great story. But like those to me are the Elseworld stories that we need more of. And
the Batman real world was that kid. Oh, that was a great one too. The Wonder Woman and Justice League, not so much. But I think the Batman Superman one of those two were the best. Those four were the best.
I feel always taking the road less traveled. I'm not personally going to do it, but like if somebody wanted to do Stan Lee's Justice League, try that one out.
Yeah, I would. Part of me would do that. If anything, I would try and do the Flash one. That one because that outfit is so good.
Wait, which Flash?
The Stan Lee Flash.
Oh yeah,
with the white biker helmet and everything.
Yeah. I kind of dug the Superman military outfit, and Batman was in like a weird actual furry costume.
But he was a wrestler.
Yeah, Superman looked cool. Batman was okay, but it's again.
And Green Lantern was Dr. Manhattan, but green.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to see something. If you're gonna do an Elseworld story, try and tackle the actual stuff that isn't.
No Superman killing either. That's overdone.
Yeah. I hate that. I'm not a fan of that. And people are like, oh my god, you should do Invincible, or you should do The Boys, and I'm like, I'm so tired of homicidal Superman.
I am so tired of it too. It's like, and unfortunately, Zack Snyder, you have all the Snyder fans, and if you're a regular fan of Snyder, I don't mind. It's the cult. The ones who are like worshiping him. It's like, you would say anything bad about him, I can tell you their dad's definitely dealt with those guys. It's like, good God, those people. And it's like, I keep on saying, oh, we stay so true to the character. Yeah, through a Batman filter. Everything is like Wonder Woman, Water Bat, Aquabat, and Speedy Bat. That's what everyone felt like in Justice League.
What I think is funny is that when you deal with those types of people, it's always Batman could defeat so and so given prep time. It's just like, God damn it. He is just a man. Yeah, he's a man in his physical peak, but even Batman has his limitations.
Even in Dark Knight Returns, he lost.
He can't. He's not a psychic.
No, he's not. And it's like, that's why I was Death Battle. Do you know about that web series, Death Battle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's lost. He's only won once. He lost all the other ones against Spider-Man, against Black Panther, no, he's only lost those two. And the only one he actually won was against Cap. The only person he could technically be ready ahead of time was Spidey and definitely Black Panther.
Well, Batman did beat Captain America in the comics, so that had to remain canon.
Well, except he did also say Cap could beat him if it took a while, but
here's the thing. I believe the only reason why Batman would actually beat Captain America because Captain America is, an enhanced individual.
And more endurance.
Captain America would only beat him if he got angry enough and said, screw it. Batman would take advantage of him because he is a skilled tactician and a ninja, basically. Yep.
I also think it was endurance, too. I think endurance would also factor in. I think Cap would keep going out doing it, and Batman would get tired.
Batman would have to be quick and fast in order to win against Captain America. Exactly. But over time, he would lose because Captain America can do this all day.
Yep, yeah, I could do this all exactly.
I mean, he literally punched Iron Man in the face and didn't even so much as break a nail. So
exactly. Or if you go by the Ultimate version, kick the Hulk right in the balls.
Right. Yeah, Batman basically the only way Batman would really win is if he understood a character's weakness and exploited it, or
in the middle of the
fast and did a quick takedown.
Exactly. And unfortunately, people don't. I mean, heck, even in Dark Knight Returns, there's a lot of factors that people do not take into account. Superman was at his weakest still. He was still holding back. Batman,
had a suit of armor and a kryptonite ring or arrow.
The gas in the arrow.
Gas, yeah.
And even then, he zapped him, and he's like, Ollie, quit messing around. I got him angry.
Yeah.
And even then, the whole point was just to stall until his heart gave out.
Right.
It's like people forget about that. And that's why I will give Frank Miller this in both Superman Year One and at the end of Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. Both times they made it very clear Superman is the best. Period. End of story. Superman would win.
Can literally push a planet with his bare hands if
he's always holding back. People forget he's always holding back. Always.
That's why my favorite moment in the Justice League animated was when he fought Darkseid, and he said, all my life I've had to hold back. I'm not holding back with you right now. And he just beats the crap out of Darkseid.
Or Superman versus the Elite. When when he finally let's try it your way. And you're terrified. You're like, shit, he's not holding back. And you're just like, that's the thing people forget. If Superman didn't hold back, he's a god. You can't stop a god, no matter what. If you're like, oh, but Batman has a kryptonite ring. Really? Hey, Batman, Superman's a mile away. Heat visions him. People forget that stuff. They forget that stuff. It's like if he wanted to, nothing could stop him. Any of his weakness, he could take you out before you even knew what hit you.
I know.
But again, people are like, oh, we want Superman to kill because edgy. That's why I'm such a diehard.
There was an issue where it was recent. These people were yelling at these illegal immigrants. Superman was defending them, and a man turned to Superman. It may have been a cop and said, why are you defending them and everything? And he goes, these are people too. And he says, we're not supposed to care. He goes, I care. And the guy says something to the effect of, well, you shouldn't care. He goes, I do, and you should be thankful that I do, because if I didn't.
That was Dan Jurgens during the Oz Effect, I believe. I think that was during
Thank you. Yeah, but I'm terribly summing up. But what he said basically was, be thankful that I do care.
Exactly, because if he didn't care, and again, people don't get that, and Zach definitely didn't get it at all with it, and I'm glad that the Snyder Cut got made. I'm glad he was able to get his vision.
I'm happy it's over.
Oh, exactly, because
Because I know for a fact if it didn't come out, we'd never hear the end of it. It's
Oh, yeah.
always the magical, the fountain of youth.
Oh, the Snyder cut
Oh,
was
yeah.
light years better than.
Oh, it
For
was
4 years we heard this shit.
Oh
it
my
was
God,
better in
this
some regards, but I still say this: I prefer how Superman was in the other cut because it felt closer to Superman when he finally at the very end when he's toying around when he's doing that stuff. It felt like that's Superman.
Yeah,
That
I
is the
know.
Superman
And it's
I wanted
unfortunate that Henry Cavill got the short end of the stick.
because he wanted that Superman.
I know, and he had to go through three movies and
Three and a half. Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. And I feel so terrible because he could have been a true successor to Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Oh, yeah.
He had
Just
all
like
the
Rouse could have been. Just like Rouse
He's
could have
in
been.
great shape. He had the blue eyes, the square jaw, a wonderful soothing voice. And he generally is a nice guy.
Oh yeah.
Cavill in person is a nice guy.
Exactly.
Let that shine.
Yeah, and I agree. It's just like I said. That's why whenever I tell people I saw Superman was best in Justice League, they act like I grew a second head or something. They're like, "What are you crazy?" It's like, no. This point when after he came back from the dead and we saw him, he felt like DCAU Superman. He felt exactly.
He had a chance because of him being dead and coming back. He had an opportunity to actually be now the Superman he wasn't before.
Exactly, but then what did Zach want to do? Oh, he has to relearn it, and his original plans was Lois was going to date Bruce and Batman and have his kid, and now he's saying, Lex Luthor's going to. Did you hear about just recently? Just said, Lex Luthor would actually win now if I changed my mind.
No,
and again, people keep saying, he gets it, he gets it. He doesn't get it. You're just saying that because you're fearful of everyone else.
He's just literally doing this with his action figures.
Because the fact. BVS should have proved that. The moment he had it in the Death of Superman, unearned, you're like, you are just cherry picking moments here and there, and just tossing
Batman
it in.
v Superman is literally it's part Dark Knight, it's part Death of Superman, and it's there are probably other stories he's pulling from also, but it's like, dude, pick one.
Exactly. I accepted Man of Steel. I've defended Man of Steel in the early days, but now seeing what the final result was with Justice League, I can't anymore. I
said that Batman v Superman retroactively made me dislike Man of Steel because I'm like, okay, it's his first day on the job.
Yeah,
he's got.
You didn't know everything, and it's like, how can you do on your first day of the job? How can you stop something like that? You can't.
Right. So I understand that. I was giving.
Zod is a great tactician.
Then you're telling me that in Batman v Superman, 9 months have gone by and he's still this miserable sack of shit.
Exactly.
Like,
and the world. I mean, I get the world turning on him. I get the world fearing him. That makes sense. But he shouldn't let it get to him. He should be like, I'm going to prove him wrong. I mean, even, again, back to JMS, when he did his Superman Earth 1, he got that. I mean, yeah, he made a royal screw-up in the second volume, but by the third one, he knew enough to, like, okay, I made the world leaders terrified. They make a horrible decision. I'm going to still tell them out on it. I'm like, what the hell were you guys thinking?
Mm-hmm.
I do not see Man of Steel, Snyder's Superman do it. He'd be all like, oh, yeah, I screwed up. They turned on me. Maybe I should just give up. He wouldn't feel like they have the courage to tell them off.
That's another thing, too. I'm tired of the giving up trope. I don't like it when characters like Batman and Superman give up because those two characters specifically are driven by inhuman desires. Batman is not a giver-upper because he is so hyper-focused, and Superman will never give up because of the amount of responsibility that he carries, knowing full well what he means to people. Giving up is just stupid.
Funny enough, I just started rereading out of memory for Richard Donner, his and Jeff Johns' run. Good God, with Adam Kubert's artwork, the stuff they did with Zod and Chris Kent and all that. That was such a great story. And then the Bizarro World follow-up and everything. It's like, that is true Superman right there. And I feel bad for Jeff Johns. Yes, he made some bad mistakes, but he tried to get these back on track. But now he's too tainted. And unfortunately, you have people who say, he's this and that. Was like, he was trying to give us a faithful DCU better than Snyder ever did. But unfortunately, you idiots want to follow the cult and say, like, Snyder knows all better than Jeff Johns. When it's like, okay, keep Jeff away from Wonder Woman. He does not get Wonder Woman if you look at his comic stuff. But other than Wonder Woman, he gets everyone else.
I know, and it's, again, I just wish that they would do some restaffing. Though, like DC and Warner Brothers need to restaff from the ground up.
Maybe the Discovery thing will do it.
Understand pathology.
Yeah.
Understanding how a person thinks
Mm-hmm.
is more important than where you want your story to go. Because, I do this with my writing. You know, if a character who has dedicated their lives and said, "I am defined by not murdering people," that makes me different than you. I don't murder people, and then having them murder someone, you have now destroyed the single thing that makes that character unique. You've taken it away from them, and now they're no better than the people around them. Their actions need to carry a consequence, and if you're not going to deal with that consequence and the effect that it has on the psyche of that character, you're not doing your part in the story. Superman and Man of Steel needed to have more than just crying. He needed to have an actual moment where he goes, "I did the worst thing humanly possible when I killed Zod.
Yeah.
I
He just got over it too quick.
Never let that happen again." And then you can take that in a very healthy direction.
The comics did it. The comics did it. Post-crisis, after he killed the Kryptonians, what happened? Like, he seemed to be fine, but at night he was secretly dressing up as gangbuster and beating the shit out of people, Batman style. Yeah, and what did he do after he realized it? He exiled himself into space.
Yeah. There needs to be a cinematic repercussion for the actions of these characters. Batman. Oh, we're seeing Batman now as the Punisher, but how did he get to be the Punisher? And why is he the Punisher? The man who says, "I don't kill," is just wanton murdering. And I've had people use the excuse, "Well, he's killed in the comics." But he hates himself for doing.
Don't get me started on that. I haven't did that one guy
murdering. He hates himself for murdering. And if you watch just one episode of the animated series, he literally had a whole fucking fit where the first time he had the dream, "I killed a man," and went nuts. And then in Batman Beyond, episode 1, he almost killed a person and says, "I can't be Batman anymore."
Exactly. Because exactly that. Oh, boy. I don't know if Nerdette brought it, that one person she's had that argument with, that one idiot YouTuber who he just brings up, "Detective 27, he killed."
We had that conversation, actually. We were literally talking about that yesterday, about Batman and killing and Superman and killing. How, you can talk about the issue all you want. You can talk about how Batman had a gun when he started out. But if you had to ask a child, describe what Batman is, does Batman kill? The child would say no. Exactly. And as long as the child says no, because if you ask a child, does the Punisher kill people? Yes.
Yes.
Duh. A child knows that that's who the Punisher is, and then the Batman doesn't. Because no matter how much you do, no matter how much you try, that's part of Batman's core personality trait.
Deep down, he just doesn't want anyone else to die. He's a child who does it. Mark Waid put it best. Deep down, Batman's a young little boy who doesn't want anyone else to die.
Exactly. And anytime he's ever been forced to kill, it has destroyed him.
Exactly. Or if someone else in his name, like Azrael, "I'm taking him down." No, there's no, like, at first he was like, "Oh yeah, he's getting rough with people, but I'm done."
When Azrael crossed the line, he's like, "I'm gonna fucking make myself walk again if I have to."
Exactly. And even then, after he was done with Azrael, "I'm still not ready. Dick, take over for me until I'm ready." Because that was Prodigal right afterwards. And again, people don't get this stuff. They're just so used to the edginess of it. It's like this. When people say, "Oh, Superman's dumb," because if I had Superman's powers, I'd be an asshole. To which I say, "Oh, so you'd be Lex Luthor." That's exactly what I say. Because I still remember, issue number 2, post-crisis. Superman is Clark Kent, the computer says. Of course, it makes sense.
Bullshit. No
bullshit.
way.
Why? There's no way. He would never live among us.
Like powers, not tell everybody.
Yeah, like, exactly. It's like, he would never do that. He's like, because he feels like, because he wouldn't. That's why Lex is projecting. He would never see himself do it. He cannot fathom himself anyone doing it. Because he's like, if anyone else had that powers, they would flaunt it. They would use it. That's part of what led to his jealousy for Superman.
And that's why the Clark Kent guys work so well for him, because he's so unsuspecting. Anybody who sees Superman would never suspect that he would just be this mild-mannered person who's a dork.
Yep, even post-crisis where they told back his milksopness, you still couldn't tell, really. Even when he had, like, wore tight shirts showing off his abs, it's like, go to his room, his apartment, oh, he has weights there and everything. He works out. Okay, fine, a lot of guys work out, doesn't mean he's Superman. You know what I mean? Because it's all about his performance, his act. And that's why I cannot stand this whole Superman revealed his identity because,
there was
seriously.
in I saw a character design for Superman. It might have been during the mid 2000s, but they were showing how to draw Clark Kent and Superman, and they're showing a profile, and they
Mm-hmm.
go, "This is how we differentiate the characters." You know, Clark Kent's hair is parted one way, Superman's hair is
Mm-hmm.
parted the other way. Superman stands up tall, Clark Kent hunches to make
Oh,
himself look
that was
smaller
All-Star
frame.
Superman. That was during All-Star Superman.
Thank
That was
you, yes,
Frank
All-Star.
Whiteley's version. But Frank really made it look like, I love what Frank Whiteley did. When he slouches, it looks like he's gained weight. He's like, ugh. It looks like he's really gained a lot of weight and everything. Like, he looks like he has a belly and everything. You're like, wow, that's a transformation.
Yeah, and that's the way to go about it. You know, it's all in the performance. In Superman 2, when he takes the bully at the diner, he goes, working out.
Yeah. Yeah, that part. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking back to the first movie. Remember when he's ready to tell Lois, but before he chickens out, he's like that whole like. You're like, don't.
And yeah, you see him puff up his chest and stand tall and firm, and then changes his mind and slinks back down.
Exactly. That's like, and people keep on mocking. It's like, no, Superman. Here's where I always stand with Superman. I don't know where you stand, but here's my belief. Superman, there's three sides. You have Superman, you have milksop Clark Kent. You know, Clark Kent when he's out and about, no one knows who he is. Then you have those who's among Ma and Pa or Lois when she knows. That's the real Clark. That's the real one, where he can be open about his abilities, talk about everything, but he's not Superman.
I would say it's Superman, Clark Kent, and Kal-El.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Clark Kent is the performance piece.
Right.
That's the unassuming nerd who's bumbling. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. There's Superman, the stand tall. It's nice to meet you. And then there's Kal-El, which is the way he is around his parents.
Yeah.
Because he was called Clark all his life, but that's just him with the glasses off and just being relaxed and letting his guard down.
Definitely.
But those are the three sides of him, I would say.
Yep. Pretty much same thing, but different naming. So
different naming. Yeah, that's how I would classify it. Though.
Same with Batman. I just look at Batman. You have Batman. You have Playboy, and then you have Batman and Bruce in the cave.
Yeah.
When he's in the cave, mask cowl off.
Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like Playboy, completely different. And that's one thing I like when some people do. They play it up where he does the Playboy, and sometimes he does it too well, it bites him in the ass.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Land. Boy, did that bite him in the ass because no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But then other times where he can do it, where he can, like in Batman Returns. One of the few moments, my favorite Bruce Wayne moment in any of the movies, period, was in Batman Returns. When Bruce walked into that office with Max Schreck, and you could tell, like, he's owning it. He's like, and you could tell Max is for a moment caught off guard. He's like, but then he catches himself. He's like, Bruce, you're playing with the underdog. You really want to go after Mohammed Schreck? But that moment, you have Bruce dominate. It's like, yeah, I know more than you think I know. And I can do this. I could talk to the mayor about it. Then what last, but that one moment. Better than anything in any of the other movies, I think. For Bruce, anyway.
Well, for Bruce Wayne, yeah.
For Batman, there's so many, but for Bruce...
I think the thing for Bruce Wayne is that, people would take a look at him and go, he's a playboy, he's soft, but then he comes in knowing more than you, and you're like, he knows his shit.
Exactly. That's
and
why
they tried to kind of do that in the Nolan movies also, where at the end, where at the very beginning when he comes back and Rutger Hauer's character is just it's a little bit technical, and then at the end he just completely bought the company out from under, and he goes
and throws them under like it's a bit technical, but Lucius But Lucius
I kind of respected that.
Oh yeah, that's the only other part. Well, yeah, you're right. That it's right up there. Then both of those then are equal because it's the same thing though. Like this unassuming playboy, and next thing you know, holy shit, he actually knows it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's probably the closest I would ever say you have Bruce Wayne trumping over Batman. It's like doing something that Batman couldn't. Because he can't. You can't have Batman go into the boardroom and take over.
No.
Yep. So I think we've gone on long enough. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
No problem.
I really do appreciate it. And keep up the great work. Can't wait for that Powerpuff Girls one and any others you have down the pipe.
We're going to be releasing Powdered Toast Man on my later this month. It's going to be messed up. And then either the end of the month or in the beginning of August, I'm going to release Powerpuff Girls.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait because if the world needs something, needs that, it's now. It is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Powder Toast Man, care to give a little bit about that before we end it?
It is going to be terrifying. It's going to be terrifying. In full Ren and Stimpy fashion, basically, little Johnny is all grown up now.
Uh-oh.
And he finds some powdered toast.
Oh, no. And this is all live action?
Uh-huh. It's all live action.
Oh, God. Live action Ren and Stimpy type of stuff.
Yeah.
God help us. Who's voicing Powder Toast Man?
Well, Tom Propovsky is playing Powdered Toast Man.
Mm-hmm.
He was Thomas Wayne in my Martha Joker and Thomas Batman short.
Yep, I remember.
And he also played the Tick.
Oh, yeah.
So Tom has
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, and he's playing the character, and it's messed up. That's all I'm going to say. It's he has a toast-shaped head.
Do you add the secret ingredient for it to taste good, if you know what I mean?
It's in there.
Okay. Again, thank you so much, man. And anyone who's still here, anyone who popped in, thank you so much. And take care.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Yep.